Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us for another edition of Reporter's Notebook. For those of you who've never watched Reporter's Notebook before, it's one of my personal favorite segments where, sort of towards the end of our days, we get to jump into the digital studio and bring some of our coworkers in here with us and chat about the stories that they've covered today and dive a little deeper into what it's like to be a reporter here at WNCT. So today I am joined in through Zoom by Miss Kayla Schmidt, our Jacksonville reporter. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you? I had a fun story.
I'm
So,
doing good. Yeah, you had a great feel good story today. Some local chefs here in North Carolina are getting super creative. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. What did you get to cover today?
so today I got to cover a chef showdown. Now, it happens every year and it's run by the North Carolina Restaurant and Lodging Association. So, NCRLA. And if you hear that acronym, that is what it means. So, today was just the first round of a preliminary trial. So there's so many different rounds that they go through, and this was the very first one, and it featured chefs from Eastern North Carolina and surrounding. I mean Wilmington, so right there. But there were six chefs that competed today. There was no winner because obviously they have to go through so many different rounds. But I saw some of the most interesting takes on food, the backstories on it. I felt like I was on Food Network. It was really fun. And just to hear the inspiration behind the dish and also the family aspect behind it or the agriculture aspect behind it. Every chef that I talked to had a purpose and I want to say, not topic, but I guess you could call it idea for their dish, but explained through food. And it was really interesting to hear that.
That's awesome. And another cool thing about this competition is they have to use North Carolina ingredients in their creations, correct? Correct. So it's like, do they have to use all North Carolina ingredients? Is it just, they have to slide one in there to make sure they make that cut? How does that kind of work?
Nope, it kind of reminded me of Chopped, only because they had to keep it all North Carolina, homegrown, right here in our state. You can't take jelly from somewhere else. You can't take grapes from somewhere else. A good example is a chef in Duplin County used a compote of some sort, and she used
Okay.
muscadine grapes because those are here in Eastern North Carolina, right in Duplin County from the Duplin Winery. So it's really interesting to hear, and then you recognize the places that they're talking about as you become more knowledgeable about Eastern North Carolina, and you really get to know what you're putting into your body. Another example was a chef I talked to has a son with autism, and so he is very specific on what he eats. And so she wanted to create a way where he could eat, but also everyone else could eat the same thing. It tastes just as good, and he wasn't on kind of like the outs. So it was really nice to see these chefs manipulate ingredients to fit the need of the dish.
Definitely. And you said there were six people who competed today, but there are 48 chefs, pastry chefs, competing all together throughout the course of this competition. So, from what you saw today, what was like maybe the coolest or most creative thing that you saw today?
So I wish I could say in detail, but due to the fact it was the first preliminary round, they don't want us to give anything that big away. But
Okay, okay.
I will say there was a smoke aspect in one of the dishes
Ooh.
that I just thought was really, really cool. Um, Obviously, that's presentation. And then taste wise, I had something that tasted just like kugel that another reporter on our station, Ariana, makes, but it was in pastry form. And I was just so shocked. And but it was using all fresh ingredients right here in Eastern or right here in North Carolina, not only Eastern, but everywhere. And it was really fun to see, smell, that was the key, taste, and interview them because after interviewing them, you really get to know what the idea was behind their dish. And it's so much more than food.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know you got to taste today. Now I'm jealous. You got some amazing food. Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, we got to taste a little bit, but there were three judges, and they got the whole experience. Three expert judges, so they're going to narrow it down to, I believe, 20, and the winner will be announced on August 9th.
Awesome. Well, this is such a cool and creative story, Kayla. Thank you so much for, going out and covering this. I'm sure this is, bringing some people some happiness today, something super creative and awesome that we can continue to follow again because, this is an ongoing competition. Like you said, they don't pick a winner until later this year. So you guys can continue to follow this story and check out what these awesome chefs are doing with these amazing creations. Again, all local ingredients here in North Carolina. And Kayla, if people want to check out more of your story, where can they find that at?
Right on WNCT.com, as always.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kayla, for covering this story and taking the time to jump on and tell us a little more about it. And thank you guys for joining us for another Reporter's Notebook. We will see you next time.